In the dimly lit newsroom of a local television station, Michael Reynolds, an ambitious and fearless reporter, sat engrossed in his research. Whispers of a mysterious laboratory hidden deep within the outskirts of the city had reached his ears. Rumors spoke of dangerous viruses being experimented upon and recklessly mishandled. Intrigued by the potential story, Michael decided to take matters into his own hands. Disguised as an intern, he infiltrated the secretive facility. The moment he stepped inside, an eerie chill crept up his spine. The sterile environment was punctuated by an unsettling silence, broken only by the sound of scientists' distant laughter. Michael watched in horror as the workers moved about with no protective gear, handling the dangerous viruses as though they were benign substances. Their careless attitudes sent shivers down his spine. Unfazed by the risks, Michael remained hidden, his eyes locked on every illicit act within the lab. Cameras concealed within his reporter's kit silently captured the hazardous scenes playing out before him. He documented every reckless moment, determined to expose the dangers lurking within the walls of the facility. As the night wore on, Michael finally concluded his undercover shift and returned to the safety of his apartment. With a mix of excitement and anxiety, he meticulously crafted the script for his groundbreaking television show. His heart pounded as he detailed the lab's negligence and the potential catastrophic consequences of their actions. The day arrived for the show to air, and Michael eagerly prepared for his moment in the spotlight. But fate had other plans. As the clock ticked closer to the live broadcast, he suddenly vanished without a trace. Panic spread through the newsroom, and his colleagues desperately searched for any sign of him. Yet, all they found was an empty office, his research scattered and his evidence inexplicably missing. The police were called in to investigate Michael's disappearance, but their efforts yielded no leads. The case turned cold, fading into the annals of unsolved mysteries. It seemed as though the lab's reach extended far beyond their experiments, cloaking their secrets and erasing any traces of Michael's existence. Whispers of conspiracy and foul play circulated in hushed tones, haunting the minds of those who dared to question the lab's influence. Fear permeated the air, and the truth lay hidden, lost forever within the enigmatic depths of the abandoned facility. Years passed, and Michael's disappearance became a cautionary tale among reporters. Some believed he had stumbled upon something too significant to ignore, a dark secret that devoured him whole. Others dismissed it as a tragic accident or the result of a deranged mind seeking fame and fortune. But deep down, a lingering fear remained, a chilling reminder that some truths were too terrifying to be exposed. The lab remained shrouded in mystery, forever etched as a place where darkness resided, its secrets buried beneath layers of lies and deceit. And as night falls in the wind's whisper of unseen terrors, the memory of Michael Reynolds, the intrepid reporter who dared to venture into the abyss, serves as a haunting reminder that some stories are better left untold. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow upon the deserted streets. The only sign of life was the flickering lights of a mysterious laboratory tucked away in a remote corner of town. Inside, shadows danced on the walls, and a sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air. Jeremy, a young and ambitious scientist, had been assigned to the night shift at this enigmatic facility. The lab was known for its clandestine experiments involving deadly viruses, cloaked in secrecy and whispered rumors. As Jeremy stepped through the entrance, a shiver ran down his spine, but he pushed his fears aside, determined to prove himself. Within the sterile walls, rows of containment chambers loomed ominously. Each one housed a different strain of lethal virus, locked away from the world. Jeremy's task was to monitor the vitals of these sinister pathogens, ensuring their containment remained intact. On this particular night, however, an eerie silence pervaded the lab. Jeremy's footsteps echoed ominously as he made his rounds, checking the gauges and screens. Suddenly, a muffled crash startled him, coming from the darkest corner of the facility. It was as if something had broken free. Curiosity gripped Jeremy's heart, overpowering his rational thoughts. He followed the noise, his trembling hand clutching a flickering flashlight. It led him to an obscure chamber, labeled Project Nightshade, a virus so dangerous it was kept hidden even from most of the lab staff. As he cautiously approached, Jeremy's light revealed shattered glass and a ruptured containment unit. Panic flooded his veins as he realized he had stumbled upon a catastrophic accident. The Nightshade virus was loose, swirling in the air, waiting to invade its next host. Before Jeremy could react, A cloud of invisible particles enveloped him, penetrating his skin like icy tendrils. Fear paralyzed him as he watched his skin turn pale and veins blacken. He had become infected with the virus that was said to have no cure, dooming its victims to a fate worse than death. Desperation consumed Jeremy as he stumbled back, his mind racing to find a way out. The lab's intercom crackled to life, and a distorted voice echoed through the facility, a haunting mix of menace and remorse. "You have but 24 hours, Jeremy," the voice intoned, its cadence sending shivers down his spine. "In 24 hours, the Nightshade will claim your soul." Jeremy's heart pounded in his chest as he tried to comprehend the cruel fate that awaited him. He scrambled to find answers, to find a way to save himself. But the lab, once a bastion of scientific knowledge, now seemed like a sinister labyrinth of death. Hours ticked away, each passing second a reminder of Jeremy's impending doom. Desperation drove him deeper into the lab's recesses, searching for any shred of hope. In the darkest depths, he discovered hidden notes, cryptic messages left by a scientist who had once sought to unlock the secrets of the Nightshade. The notes spoke of an ancient ritual, a forbidden incantation said to hold the key to salvation. With time slipping away, Jeremy immersed himself in deciphering the riddles and assembling the necessary ingredients. The countdown to his demise served as both his motivation and his greatest terror. As the final hour approached, Jeremy's body convulsed with agonizing pain. The virus had tightened its grip, unleashing a fury of symptoms that ravaged his fragile form. Blood seeped from his eyes and mouth, staining his lab coat crimson. The once sterile floor now bore the marks of his deteriorating health. Desperation and terror engulfed him, a cacophony of screams echoing through the desolate laboratory. With trembling hands, Jeremy clawed at the walls, leaving trails of his own flesh behind. The virus seemed to relish in his torment, reveling in the brutality of its conquest. As his organs began to fail, Jeremy's vision blurred, flickering between moments of piercing clarity and a distorted nightmare. Shadows morphed into grotesque figures, dancing in his peripheral vision. The air thickened with a putrid stench, a vile mixture of decay and impending doom. His body racked with spasms, Jeremy collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath that eluded him. The virus continued its merciless assault, devouring him from within. His skin turned ashen, marred by festering sores that oozed with dark, viscous fluids. In a last desperate act, Jeremy reached for a nearby tray of surgical instruments, his mind clouded by delirium. With trembling hands, he thrust a scalpel into his chest, the metallic clang of steel against bone echoing through the lab. His anguished cries merged with the symphony of his own demise. Blood gushed forth in crimson torrents, staining the cold, sterile tiles. Jeremy's life force drained away, his body collapsing in a pool of his own mortality. The lab, a witness to Jeremy's tragic end, stood as a macabre testament to the dangers lurking within its walls. The silence that followed his death seemed to echo with the torment of those who had suffered before him. News of Jeremy's demise spread throughout the scientific community, a chilling reminder of the perils faced by those who dared to unlock the secrets of lethal viruses. The lab, tainted by tragedy, was forever marked by his gory demise, a warning etched into the very fabric of its existence. His death served as a haunting lesson, a somber reminder of the irreversible consequences that lie in the realm of the unknown. And as the doors of the lab closed, forever sealing away its grisly past, the whispers of Jeremy's tragic fate would forever haunt the dreams of those who dared to venture into the abyss of scientific curiosity.
I hope you enjoy the content I upload. If you like what I'm doing, why not think about clicking on the subscribe button to keep up to date on my uploads. Thank you all for the great support.
In the small, secluded town of Basking Creek, darkness festered beneath the surface. Its origins could be traced back to a lab hidden deep within the outskirts, a sinister place known only as Nexus Laboratories. It was here that unspeakable experiments took place, cloaked in secrecy and shielded from prying eyes. One fateful night, a mysterious virus slithered free from the lab's iron grip. Its pathogen-infested tendrils spread like an insidious disease, clawing their way into the very heart of Basking Creek. Panic ensued as rumors whispered of a deadly plague haunting the town, but Nexus Laboratories vehemently denied any involvement. Meanwhile, the cursed virus infiltrated the rivers and streams, infecting the lifeblood of the surrounding wilderness. Fish rotted away, their lifeless bodies floating atop the murky waters. Birds fell from the sky, their wings no longer able to bear their own weight. The once thriving ecosystem withered, consumed by an unseen malevolence. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting children, the waters that had once been their playground were now tainted by an invisible horror. Drawn to the allure of the creek's embrace, they plunged into the infected depths. As the water soaked into their pores, the virus took hold, weaving its way into their bodies like a parasitic nightmare. Days turned into weeks, and the children began to fall ill. Their innocent laughter turned into agonized cries, their bodies wasting away under the relentless assault of the insidious pathogen. Concerned whispers echoed through the community, and news of the afflicted children reached the ears of the government. A team of investigators descended upon Basking Creek, their presence both a glimmer of hope and a harbinger of despair. They delved deep into the murky waters of Nexus Laboratories, sifting through secrets and lies. What they discovered chilled them to the core. The lab had intentionally unleashed the virus, driven by a perverse curiosity to observe its effects on humans. Fury mingled with despair as the government came to terms with the depth of Nexus Laboratories' deceit. The decision was made to seal off Basking Creek from the world, an invisible wall erected to prevent the virus from spilling its darkness into the rest of the country. The town became a prison, a desolate haven for the dying. Months turned into a macabre dance of agony and decay. The town's once bustling streets became haunted corridors, echoing with the ghosts of its former inhabitants. The virus showed no mercy, claiming the lives of one victim after another until only silence remained. Finally, the government faced an unthinkable choice. With no hope of salvation, they decided to erase Basking Creek from existence. Flames engulfed the forsaken town, reducing it to ashes, eliminating any trace of its gruesome fate. The government hoped to bury the truth alongside the charred remains, forever keeping their own hands clean of the dark atrocity they had permitted. But as the last embers flickered and died, the cursed creek whispered its secrets to the wind. The memory of Basking Creek lingered, etching itself into the nightmares of those who dared to remember. And in the depths of Nexus Laboratories, the darkness continued to thrive, ready to be unleashed once more, leaving only destruction in its wake. For evil knows no bounds, and the horrors that slumber within the hearts of men are often more terrifying than any virus unleashed upon the world.